We're here to solve this Pentominous cipher puzzle by Takeya Saikachi. The theme is triplets with these 8 clue groups of 3 touching clues. This 1, 2, 3 in the corner has 3 distinct pentominoes, so we're going to start to grow out from each other. As this one comes down, it actually starts how the 5 is going to go as well, so we get an I in the grid for that. These 4 can't join down one more because it actually take this 6th cell with another 2, so this is forced to be an F. This 3 coming across, if it joined all the way to this 3, it would put another I in the grid, but 1 is equal to the I, so this isn't coming through there. These have to dodge. There's another pentomino in between. That means 3 is a V. The only way that 3 is also a V is having this shape. This 2x3 box with 1 exit means that the 4 is going to be a P shape, and so let's actually come through and just label some of the ones we just identified, I, F, P, and V. We have a shape coming down here. We have the 6 coming out from this triple. This 5 can take this 3rd cell, but we'll take a 4th and a 5th. And again, this 2 can't come up to the top, so it's got to come over to the right. The 6 can take 3, 4, 5, but always has to take these cells, which means the 2 is now limited to this exact position for its F shape. If the 6 came over and took that cell, it would be another F, but it can't be. So we get a W in the grid for what 6 is, L, but not with any numbers, is going to be this top shape, and 5 has to now be a Y. So we'll get 5 in, and W is 6 in. 4, which is the only clue on the bottom that's already part of a labeled shape, has to be part of a P, and so one thing we can note is that it will always have a 4 in the cell. And if that's true, this 12 will always have to take this cell. And notice if it doesn't take this cell, it'll also be a P. And if it takes this cell, it now would be a P as well. So it actually completes itself up like an L. So we actually have that ID. And that gives us a little more knowledge actually about the 4. It now has to use these to be a valid P. We don't have a lot of shapes left, so it might be worth just figuring out what some shapes can be. And one of the ones I know more about is 7 has a run of 3 in a row. And all the pentomino shapes left do have an ability to have 3 in a row, but let's just see that some of these get canceled. So for instance, Z can't come and take this shape, but if it takes this shape, it pins a cell. If U, this is the only way that U could go, that would put 6 over on the right side of the grid. That's not going to work. If this is an N, this N pins a cell, and this N leaves 7 in this right group. Again, not a valid count, so N, U, Z are all out. So we're down to T and X. This is T, that's one of the T's, but makes this invalid. This is another T, pins a cell. So I'm only seeing X to be a valid part of this grid at this time, looking at one of the more constrained numbers. So I'm going to put in this X, puts in a Y, puts in these clues. This group of 3, if it doesn't touch the 10, wouldn't leave the 10 enough space to grow, so it has to be part of the 10, and that means we have a Z, and we finish the P. So we've got the 10 identified, we have the X identified, we have NUT to go with these remaining cells. Let's look at sort of first if this joins to the 9, what's going on with it. This can't be a T, it can't be a U, and while it looks like it can be an N, that doesn't strand enough up above. So this actually can't join to the 9 through the cell. This is part of its own P shape. This 9's coming across, and actually we do know what 12 is, so let's look at this. This can't come up 4, so this is actually part of the 4 long run and takes these cells. So this is some good shape. 9 now has still those options NUT. The U is out. The N might work, and that would put in this shape, and the T also looks like it works. So we may want to go to a different shape. If 9 isn't the U, which one is the U? Can 11 be the U? The only U I see is here, and it strands a cell, so 8 has to be the U. So that will help us out. That means that N and T are left to go. Can 11 be a T? If it's coming up like this or like this, it's definitely stranding cells to the lower left. So 11 has to be an N, which means it's coming up and over like this. 9 is a T. That puts this in. If we actually complete the only N that's left, we have an L left behind, and we finish the grid. So pretty fun puzzle. It definitely flowed out by just identifying some of these first numbers, the first 6, and then using the remaining 6 pentomino shapes to figure out 7, 12, 8, etc. as we got our way around the grid. So a good workout from Takeya. Hopefully you got a sense through this video of how to play with pentomino shapes and finding out how to divide the grid into valid 5, 10, 15 size chunks when you do subdivide it. That was the reason we couldn't have anything but this x pentomino here. So hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you again soon.